Don't stop.
Hi, thanks so much for joining me on the Everything and Anything in a Big Gay podcast. I'm Zach Randles-Friedman, and I'll tell you about my guests that I'm going to interview today in just a moment. But before I get into my guest, I wanted to tell you a little story that came back to my mind as I was talking with a friend. And it's hysterical to me in so many ways. So here's the premise of the story. Me and my husband were living in New York City, and I don't think we were together that long at that point, maybe a couple years, and which is actually a long time in the gay world. It's like 400 years in the gay world. But we were on a bus in New York City going downtown, and his friend that he worked with, wherever he was working at the time, got on the bus. It was a woman. And she sits down next to us, and she's talking, and she's very nice. And I guess, they're not like best friends, but they were friendly with each other. And she turns to me, and she goes, oh, and Andrew says, oh, this is my friend Zach. And he wasn't saying this is my boyfriend or my future husband or my lover or whatever. He was just saying this is my friend Zach. And because, whenever Andrew and I first met, Andrew said he was bisexual. Yeah, he actually thought he just wasn't. He slept with many women throughout his early 20s, but he was not bisexual. He was a big old gay man. So, and eventually he lost that. And now he's definitely very proud to be a gay man and not anywhere near bisexual. But back to this woman on the bus, Andrew wasn't like so comfortable coming out to people as we've all that are part of the LGBTQ plus community. Most of us all have that time in our lives where we don't want to just be open and free and say who we are. But he said that I was his friend, and she goes, oh, there's something about you. Like, are you European? This is what she tells me. No, I'm not. From Miami. Lived in New York for a few years. And she goes, oh, you seem so European to me. So I don't know why I thought of this and was talking to my friend about it. I can't even remember the premise of what brought this up. But basically, I was dressed maybe a little better than a straight man was because I'm gay. And I have no British, European, Italian, Spanish, from Spain, Portuguese, no accent at all. Like, I am not from Europe, clearly. Like, people say that I have a little country twang in my voice sometimes, which I don't ever hear it, but I have been told that on a few occasions. So I am so, American, and just because maybe I wear some European designer labels clothes, but she just seen me and she thought there was something different. Maybe I was a little femmy to her, and that's how she sees some European men, which some of them are. And I'll just say, when I lived in Switzerland, there was times where I'm like, is this guy gay or just British? Is he gay or just German? Sometimes I just could not tell. The German and Swiss guys love wearing their linen scarves around their neck, and the British guys wear their very tight kind of dress pants and stuff that are a little short with good shoes usually. So, Europeans definitely dress much more, I say better, than a lot of straight American men. Not all, but some. But they have a different style. And I think that maybe being gay and going to Europe, I maybe adapted that style. So anyway, I think it's just so funny whenever people can't pinpoint exactly. And I wonder, once she got off that bus, she's like, maybe he wasn't really European and maybe he was gay. But has she never been, she was never exposed to a gay person? She lived in New York City. So that, I couldn't just comprehend it. So I think it's funny. I wasn't insulted at all. Yes, think I'm European. So I should have started trying to talk in a bad Italian accent. She would have thought I was Italian or something. I don't know. Or a bad British accent. My British accent is so horrible. Governor. So I'm not even going to try it. It's so bad. But let's get into my guest today. I just wanted to tell a little funny story because I was talking about it and I thought it would be something that you would think is funny. But my guest today, his name is Justin. He is doing the 14th annual Night of 1000 Judys. 14th. It's at Joe's Pub on Monday, June 1st. Starts at 7 o'clock. I have a great interview with Justin, so listen to it and go and support it. This is a special tribute to Judy Garland. It benefits the Ali Forney Center, the largest organization helping homeless LGBTQ plus youth in the U.S. So it is an amazing organization that they are supporting. And it's at Joe's Pub. I've been to Joe's Pub many, many times. I've seen Sandra Bernhardt there on New Year's. I've seen Bridget Everett. I've seen lots of other acts. Joe's Pub is a phenomenal space. I love Joe's Pub. They have a great little bar. I think it's called the Library upstairs. It looks like a library, but it's a fantastic place. Go and support this. If you're in New York on June 1st, go and support this because it's going to be a fantastic show. So thanks so much for listening and enjoy my interview with Justin. If you want tickets, I will put the link to get tickets in the description of this video or podcast that you're watching, but you can go to 1000, spelt out THOUSAND, Judys.com to get tickets for this event. Thanks for listening, and I'll be back tomorrow with more guests. Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining me in the Everything and Anything and a Bit Gay podcast. Today, I have a guest that many of you probably already know. This is his first time appearing on my show, but welcome to the show, Justin Elizabeth Sayre.
Hello. It's so nice to be here.
It's very nice to have you. So I want to just start off by saying I've read so much about you, and especially since I started doing more research on you whenever I found out you were going to come on my show. But this is such an interesting fact that I found. Michael Musto called you the Oscar Wilde meets Whoopi Goldberg. Do you own that? And or does that make you feel like you're in a box?
Oh, no. What a box to be in.
Yeah, I love that.
Oh, yeah. No, what a box to be in. I'm always happy when people bring that up. I love it. I'm very honored by it.
And then you also, you have a book. It's called From Gay to Z. It's about queer culture encyclopedia, which I think is brilliant.
Yes.
Is there anything you can tell us that maybe didn't make the book, that maybe got left on the hard drive and didn't actually?
Oh my goodness, so many things. Because first of all, if anybody ever asks you to write a dictionary, don't do it. It's grueling work. But what the book was really trying to be, and what I wrote about even in the beginning was, it can't be comprehensive. It's a huge undertaking to talk about all of queer culture. Queer people have made so much, contributed so much to the world. So there were a lot of people who I wanted to talk about. I remember we sent a book to Trixie Mattel, and she looked at it. She didn't find her name on her solo entry, but she's in the book under all the Rue Girls, with all
yes.
And she was a little offended, and I was like, "That's fair. She's built an empire." This was a few years ago, but I think there were people that I. Because it was my book, I got to put in people that I loved, like Eva Gallion and all those folks. Yeah. But I think the thing that is shocking to me is even in the few years, it's been out a couple of years now, there's so many new people and new interesting things that have happened and new art being made that, maybe there'll be an addendum. We'll just keep adding to it.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of actually a great point because, if you think about where we are, and not to get political, but where we are in the U.S., well, I guess the world right now, but focusing a little bit on the U.S., where there's all these anti-LGBTQ things happening. And, I think being a LGBTQ plus storyteller and doing these type of things is so important right now, too. Have you thought about that? Like, as you read the news?
Absolutely. It's interesting. I think having a better sense of that history has really helped me in this moment, because I think that if you grew up as I did during the AIDS crisis, you saw this trajectory where it was like, okay, we fought hard and we won the medications, and we had ACT UP, we had political power, and we fought for marriage equality and got it. We did all these things. There was this trajectory by which we were really gaining ground.
Mm-hmm.
And now you see a different trajectory where we're losing ground, and we're losing the hearts and minds of people, young people in particular, which is so strange to me. But having this perspective of like, oh, well, you can look at the people that came before us who didn't have those rights afforded to them, who were fighting for such a different scale to live their lives, and yet still lived them with dignity, found their communities, made art, did all these amazing things in periods of time where what they were doing was not even considered. So that kind of resilience, I think, for me, having a scope of history, I'm able to look back and being like, there was a pansy craze in the 1920s, and all these performers made all this work, and then it went away. And then we went into this different period of time. And then there were, I'm working on a play right now about Ray Bergen, and who was a drag queen in the 50s. And it's like, here's this artist who was making party records and played Carnegie Hall and did all these things in a period of time where we were unheard of, where we didn't exist. That the resiliency of our history is prescient in mind right now with everything that's going on.
Do you think the younger generations even appreciate? Because I grew up in South Beach during the AIDS crisis, like in the 90s. Oh, wow. And so, there was somebody literally dying every week, And so, and if you think about, and now this younger generation is going to have marriage equality, and they're going to have, a lot more rights than we did as we were growing up and stuff. Do you think they appreciate all of the things that we had to do to fight? Because I look back with Pride coming up next month, and I look at and I've been reading a little bit about Marsha P. Johnson, how they were at Stonewall doing all these things, and how they were fighting the cops and throwing bottles out, really going above and beyond to get equal rights, and because of what they did. And I appreciate that, but I'm just wondering what your thoughts are. Do you think that the younger generations that are coming up now appreciate that, or even what we went through?
I think yes and no. I think it is hard when you are free. It is hard to imagine not being free.
Yes.
And I think that there is a certain amount of leeway that I give a lot of young people, because they don't know a world in which that wouldn't be accepted. They don't know a world in which, and that's certainly not true across the board. I think there's still, huge swaths of young people who are really suffering under the yoke of this kind of right-wing renaissance that's happening. But what I would say is, I think that the thing that I hope they start investigating for themselves is the real precious need for queer spaces and queer community, which I think we continually kind of get away from.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that the thing more than history, at times, what I want them to know is I want them to understand that how precious it all is, and that you are here, and the freedoms that are afforded you are a gift. When the first time Trump got elected, I went and got a tattoo of Oscar Wilde's cell number on my arm because I was in a protest mood. But I was like, you forget that less than 100 years ago, this very famous man went to jail here for living his life.
Mm-hmm.
And nothing, celebrity, notoriety, his accomplishments could not save him. That our rights hang on such, a spider's thread that we have to be conscious of it. And young people are becoming aware, but they can always be more aware, and they have to realize how far they've come.
Yeah, and I think some of these queer spaces are going away also because all the young people are on their apps. They're meeting people on their apps
sure.
like constantly. And I'm just like, go see a show, go to a bar, meet people in person. So it's just like, it just kind of drives me a little insane because that's why there's so many like, gay establishments that are closing down because they're all like sitting at home waiting for, the next hookup or whatever. So.
Oh, yeah. No, absolutely. Absolutely.
I would love to kind of go back a little bit in your life and kind of like when you were growing up, and when did you know that queer culture and performance were going to be part of your life?
Performance happened very, very early. I knew that I was going to be somewhere on stage. I was very, very comfortable there. Very early, like second grade or something. Really kind of just like had no qualms about it. The biggest, I think that the biggest turning point for me, I sang when I was young, so I did choir and all that stuff. I think the big
Where did you grow up, by the way?
I grew up in a little town in Pennsylvania, northeast of Pennsylvania, called 40 Fort, Pennsylvania, which is a real place. So I grew up there, and I think the turning point for me was I was about 13. I was singing in a recital at a local college, and it was the summer, and I started the song, and all the lights went out in the whole building. And I guess, they'd blown a fuse or something. I was up there in the dark, 13 years old, in the packed house, and I just started talking to the audience. I said, kind of just telling jokes and talking in the dark. And then lights came up and people were laughing, and I sang my song and I walked off. And that, I think, it changed the dynamic for me about what was possible on stage. But it was also just a feeling of real safety. I feel very safe on stage. Probably safer than I do a lot. Queer culture, I think, it's one of those interesting things. When you look back, I didn't realize how kind of invested in queer culture I was as a young person. It's always those amazing little connections that you make. Like, I don't know if this has happened for you, but it's interesting to me how many people I was friends with as young children, and we're all gay.
Yes, and and the funny thing is that there's a person that I went to high school with who I knew was gay, and she is now trans, and I met with her. We did not get along when we were in high school because I think we both were called gay, and we just didn't want to be associated with each other because we were denying it. But we had a same group of mutual friends. And then years later, like maybe, 15 years later, 20 years later after high school, we met for dinner, and she transitioned. And it's so funny how we probably we should have been good friends in high school, it's crazy how many people and I look at also some of the people who even I went to high school with, who I see online, I'm like, they're married with kids, but I know they really want to suck a dick. Like, I know it.
Well, everybody makes choices.
Exactly.
So, no, but I think that, there's something in looking back. There was a lot of things that I kind of gravitated towards before I knew they were queer. There were things that I liked that kind of were kicking off little things in my head that I wasn't verbalizing as queer, but appealed to that weird sensibility, and I think when I finally figured out how to kind of mesh them together, that's when I really started to kind of make the work and be the artist I wanted to be. And they really kind of, both those forces really came together.
And we'll be right back. Okay, now back to the show. So you've done novels, TV, theater, cabaret. Where do you think that you feel most creative out of all those areas?
I mean, I love live performance, absolutely. I love that. I love getting in front of an audience. I love. I think a lot of what's often kind of I've been called a stand-up. I don't know. I don't feel like I'm necessarily a stand-up, but I think that connection with the audience is vital to everything that I do, and even and it touches on all the other work in a way, you know.
Yeah.
When I wrote, even as early as high school, people would always say, "Oh, I can hear you reading this." You know, there's this kind of like this need for communication, this need to kind of tell a story. So when I'm in front of an audience, that's about us, you know, and that's so palpable. And when I wrote for television, it was about, you know, we were in front of a live studio audience, so I was getting that feeling back. But yeah, no, everything kind of comes down to that. Comes down to live performance. It really, it's where I feel the best. Most people.
Well, you appeared on like The Comeback with Lisa Kudrow, which was that's pretty amazing. What was that experience like?
Well, I had Michael Patrick King had seen a clip of my show in New York, and I was doing some stand-up in L.A.
Okay.
And he got my number through Bridget Everett, who we both knew.
Oh my God, I love Bridget so much. I'm dying.
Yeah.
She's one of the top 3 people I want on my show, and I just cannot get her on.
Oh, you should have her. She's a hoot.
Can you get her for me? And I would buy you.
We could make that happen.
Okay, I would buy you a dinner and drinks and whatever else you wanted. So
no worries, we can make it happen.
Okay, awesome.
But so he got my number from Bridget Everett, called me into a meeting, and said, "Have you ever thought about writing for television?" And I said, "No, I have no idea." So I'd never written a pilot, never written anything for TV. I'd written some sketches for my show, The Meeting. He said, "We'll send them over. We'll see if you could, you know," and offered me a job. So I was in New York. I was finished. We did Night of 1,000 Judys, which we're doing next week, and I finished that job, and I flew to LA the next day because we were starting, you know, I was going to write on Two Broke Girls. And then I was there probably 3 or 4 days, and he said, "Listen, I'm doing double duty right now. I'm filming the 2nd season of The Comeback. Would you want to be on it?" Sure. What do I? Yeah. He's like, "Wear your own clothes." He's like, "Wear one of those ponchos," because, you know, I always came in kind of full geesh and very gay. Yeah. So he's like, "Wear one of those ponchos you always wear, and we'll put you in makeup." And I was like, "Oh." So I got there. The funniest story was Michael said to the makeup artist, who hated me. Oh. I don't know why, but this man hated the Simon. And Michael said, "I want him to put him in full face." I said, "Okay." So we go to the trailer. I'm walking behind this man. He starts putting on makeup. He goes, "You know, your eyes are uneven." There's very little I could do about that right now. So he puts on makeup, and I know it's not enough, but I'm not the makeup guy. So we go back inside. I've just a little makeup on, and Michael looks at me and goes, "No, full face. I want lips. I want the whole bit." So we have to go back out to the trailer. And now the guy is really mad. And he's mad because, you know, he hasn't done every. But the worst part was he just thought I was some extra, some guy I had one line. He didn't care. Well, I was like, I'm going to work with Michael tomorrow. You know, this is not a good scene for you. But anyway, we went in, finally got all the makeup done. Lisa was an absolute gift. Wonderful. So generous, so smart. And I got to work with her on a project that later that she was a producer on, and she's just really brilliant. And
you got to meet Mickey, the guy that played Mickey, her assistant, I'm assuming.
Oh, yes. Oh,
he was amazing. I was so sad whenever he passed.
Yeah. And Lena Waithe was there. Lena Waithe was sitting at the table with us, who went on to be, you know, huge writer and producer.
Yeah. So. Is there a TV project that you have in mind or that you haven't done that you want to do?
Oh yeah, oh yeah, no, we had so right before the pandemic, I had written a series of plays that we'd done online, or we'd done on a stage. We did these plays, and they were kind of like a horror, funny, dark shadows with vampires and all this stuff.
Uh-huh.
And I sold it to Sony Pictures. I sold it to Sony Television. And then the pandemic happened and all this stuff happened. Then RuPaul was producing for a little while, and then that, ran out and all these things. But it was a great project, and I still would love to make it happen. It's my favorite thing in the whole world.
I love that. I almost feel like they should do I don't want to say a reality show because that makes it sound, I'm not thinking like the Kardashians or anything, but or maybe it's a documentary they should do about you because you have all this history and all these people that you've met and known and all these projects you worked on. I think it would be such an amazing documentary, actually. Have you ever thought about doing something like that?
I don't know. It's this weird thing. I'll say this, and I wonder how you feel, because there's part of it, so it's like you're a public person, and you make all these things and you talk about your life or you talk about different things. But there's also a part of me that's really so private. Like I don't want to leave the house, or I don't want, there's that kind of, it's how I knew that writing was always going to be part of the work that I was making, because I love the performance. I love being out there and doing it. But there's also a part of me that's very solitary and wants to just be in that silent place. So I thought about, I don't know that the documentary is on the cards yet. Maybe someday. But I wonder about it. I don't know. I understand. Interesting today.
Maybe like a reality show is like, living up to like the Kardashian world or whatever reality show is probably tough. But I think a documentary, you're just kind of going through your life and like all the amazing people you work with and the projects that you've done. Yeah. I mean, just in the 25 minutes that we've been talking, like people are going to be in awe of think about who we've talked about. Bridget Everett. Sure. We've talked about Lisa Kudrow. I mean, you've had an amazing career and life. And I think a lot of people would be so interested to kind of hear all that told in a story. But that's just me pitching somebody to come to you.
Sweet. Let's hope that somebody out there's listening.
I have a feeling that it's going to happen. So
good.
That's me. So let's talk about what's coming up at Joe's Pub, Night of 1,000 Judys.
Night of 1,000 Judys.
That is coming 14th year. It's on June 1st. It's at Joe's Pub, and I love Joe's Pub. I've seen Bridget Everett perform there. I've seen Sandra Bernhardt perform there. I've seen lots of other people. It's such an amazing space. Oh, yeah. And 14 years. And I think the other thing that's amazing is what you're doing with who you're supporting or the organization you're supporting, the Ali Forney Center. And just for people who don't know, they help LGBTQ homeless youth. And it's such an amazing organization that you're supporting with this. So.
Oh, yeah. And we've been with them since the beginning, The Night of 1,000 Judys grew out of my show that I had at Joe's Pub for a long time called The Meeting, where every month we would celebrate a different gay icon. And Judy was born and died in June, and it's Pride Month, and she's the big gay icon. So we started Night of 1,000 Judys, And right from the jump, the show, The Meeting, was about community. It was about building community. So I felt like we have to do something at the end of each of those seasons to really kind of celebrate the community and kind of pay it back, because we've been so blessed, So Ali Forney was the first place that I saw them, because I think so often in the many causes that queer people are, and rightfully so, were brought to, give to or be involved with, I think homeless kids and young people, investing in young people is really so vitally important. And the work that the Ali Forney Center does is just tremendous. It's because it's not just about getting young people into housing. It's about getting them GEDs, getting them on tracks towards college, getting them jobs and life skills and a whole host of things. They step in a parental way that really goes above and beyond just getting people off the streets. It's really,
that's amazing.
It's so holistic and amazing. And I'm very proud to have been a small part of what they do every year for 14 years.
That's amazing. And we'll be right back. Okay, and now back to the show. Can you walk me through what a typical night of 1000 Judys actually looks like? So for someone who hasn't been before, what does that night look like?
Oh, sure. Well, typically, we do an opening number where two twins dance around me.
Okay.
That seems to be a combination that we just can never get past. We could do without it on my end, but people seem to like. So, two very accomplished young twinkie guys dance around me. We sing a song, Night of 1000 Judys. Then we have a whole host of different performers from Broadway, from cabaret, from downtown performers, from pop music, all across the board. And the thing that makes the show so different from, I think, other kind of tribute shows is we're not asking you to come and do your Judy. We don't, in the 14 years we've done it, we've never had anybody do like a Judy impression except one time. Everything else is, what is the spin of this song that you're going to do? What is your dialogue or what is your conversation with Judy Garland as an artist? What is your finding your way into the Judy catalog rather than putting the Judy catalog on you? And I think that in itself as just kind of like a production ethos makes it really interesting because we have artists who come in and do totally different sounding, brilliant interpretations of this music and what Judy means to them. We had the trio Betty last year, who's wonderful singers, and they came in and did the trolley song. It was so fun and inventive and interesting. Yeah. We've had acoustic guitars, and we've had rock singers, and we've had Martha Wash and Michael Feinstein and Nathan Lee Graham and a whole host of people who really just are in conversation with Judy Garland as a performer, what she means to them, what the music means to them. And I think in that way, the show becomes very heartfelt and real because it's not, you're going to go hear the same song every year.
Yeah.
Always different. It's always a huge variety of what people will expect. And I think in that way, the show is ever new because you have new people every year who come in and kind of offer what Judy means to them, which is, I think, is amazing.
Amazing. And Claiborne Elder's in it this year?
Oh, yeah.
He is on my list. I'm going to hopefully get to interview him in the next few weeks. And it's going to be hard to concentrate because I think he's so hot. So
that's fair. Yeah. He's a very good-looking man.
And it's funny thing is, I interviewed his brother, who his brother is a psychiatrist, psychologist, and I interviewed him at the very beginning when I started this podcast like 2.5 years ago. And, and we're friends on Facebook and Instagram and all this. And a picture of him and his brother came up on his Facebook. And I'm like, wait a second. Is your brother the guy that was in the Gilded Age? He goes, yeah, we look at same nose. I'm like, oh my God, you told me you had a brother who was an actor during your interview, but I never expected it was going to be him. So I text him. I'm like, can you get him on? And that's how I kind of.
Oh, great. So see, it's all coming together.
It's all coming together. And you with Bridget Everett, I mean, it's all coming together. So I wanted to kind of ask you, after this is done, what do you have coming up next? Like, what's next after the Thousand Judys is over?
After this, I'm doing a solo show at the Edinburgh Fringe called Just Elizabeth Sayers, a 40-year-old woman.
Awesome.
Which I'm very excited about. It's a comedy show, and it's a kind of rallying cry to those of us who are 40. And I'm very proud of the show. So I'm taking that up the whole month of August in Edinburgh.
Wow.
And it's also dedicated to, I don't know if you ever knew of her, but my friend Katie Lazarus. Did you ever hear of Katie?
The name sounds familiar.
Yeah, she was a podcaster, and she had a show at Joe's as well called Employee of the Month.
Yes, I do know who she is. Yes.
Yeah, and Katie died of cancer in 2020. And she was just a good friend, and she was a dogged young woman. And I think getting to be now 40 and above and realizing that, my friend didn't get to be a 40-year-old woman for long enough.
Yeah.
When we celebrate where we are,
Yeah.
So I'm really proud of the show. And then I'm working on a bunch of projects right now. I have a play of mine that's coming back called Three Little Girls Down a Well. Should gonna probably be done in early 2027. And then I've been commissioned by New York Public Library to write a play about Ray Burton. So I'm working on that. And then hopefully a new book next year, which I can't tell you anything about.
That's quite a lot.
Yes.
That's amazing. You have a full schedule for the next at least 2 years. It sounds like.
I do indeed. I work a lot.
One thing I just wanted to just mention, kind of going back to the Night of a Thousand Judys, the New York cabaret downtown scene is something that's got this certain energy. How would you it's like a spiritual energy night, and how would you kind of describe it to somebody who's not aware of it?
Oh, I think there's nothing like it. I think there's such an energy to it. I think it's born on the backs of probably 3 or 4 people, truthfully. I think you look at everything that's going on right now, none of that could have been possible without people like Justin Vivian Bond and Joey Arias.
Yes.
Probably Raven and a few other people who were like out of Bordeaux and those places. And they would probably say that they got their start from people like Ethel Eichelberger and all those folks. But it's adventurous. It is thought-provoking. It is taking... Salty Bride was a wonderful performer at Joe's, and a cabaret artist is coming to Edinburgh as well. He does whole albums, but writes these stories to albums and performs them. And you look at people like Cole Scola, that Oh Mary came out of cabaret because we were all doing cabaret downtown, and it came out of a necessity that we could, we didn't have a lot of money, so you could put up a show at the Duplex, or you could put up a show at Joe's Pub or somewhere and be in front of an audience and experiment. People like Erin Markey and Mommy Pope and all those folks.
I love Erin Markey. She's so good.
Incredible, brave and thought-provoking and interesting. Becca Blackwell. So many amazing performers.
Yeah.
And I think that the New York scene of cabaret in that Bridget Everett, Bridget, of course, and Taylor Mack and all those folks, it was experimental and interesting and thought-provoking. And why I say that it all kind of grew out of somebody like Vivian is that there is a world in which those things could have been just silly. There's a drag world and a lot of even Drag Race where it's like, oh, it's just silly. It's just like, we're just kind of doing a parody, or we're just doing this. When you saw Kiki and Herb with Vivian and Kenny Melman, they were silly clowns, absolutely, but they were also the most touching people. You never heard somebody sing a song or take a song apart like that.
Yeah.
I remember Vivian singing Running Up That Hill, the Kate Bush song, weeks after 9/11, and to have a whole audience just in tears when she's saying running at that building, just horrified and heartbroken. And that what it was rather than, okay, we're doing this, we're going to experiment, we're going to have fun, we're going to create something new, we're going to be silly, but we're also going to be tender and real. And having both of those, creating both of those in the same space and places for those in the same space is something that I think, with very few exceptions, New York has over everybody. And that is New York cabaret, especially downtown. You can do those things. It's amazing.
If you could name 2 people that you would love to work with that you haven't yet, who would those 2 people be?
Oh my God. Well, since I'm in London right now, I will say Dawn French. I've always wanted to work with Dawn French. I think she's incredible. Okay. Yes. And work with, there's so many people.
Because we're going to have to tag them in this post when it goes on my Instagram.
Please do.
Yes.
Who I haven't worked with yet.
And it can be like as big as you want.
As big as I want. All right. I think I'd really like to work with Melissa McCarthy.
Oh.
I think she's really, really funny.
Yeah.
And I think she's really talented.
I think those are 2 good choices, and I will tag them both whenever I post this on my Instagram. And
good.
Maybe they'll reach out. So,
yeah.
And my last thing I wanted to just kind of ask if you could do this, is that I hope that you sometimes at the end of a day or end of a week or when you have a quiet time, that you kind of sit back and you think about all the amazing things that you've given to this world, meaning how many people that you've entertained, how many people that you've saved because like what you're doing by giving back to the LGBTQ homeless youth, by just the way that you've helped people with working and having jobs. And just if you think about all the people that you've made so happy by just your entertainment and your reading and the books that you've written and stuff, just I hope you do sometimes reflect on like all these amazing things that you've given the world. And if you haven't reflected on it, I'm asking if you could do that.
I will certainly try.
Okay.
I will certainly try. I don't often, but I will try.
But it's important for you to kind of, and I know it's weird for people to think about, how great am I and stuff, but I'm letting you know as an outsider looking in, you are great, and I hope that you do kind of take that sometime and just like reflect on it and give that good energy back in the world. So.
Oh, well, thank you very much. That means a great deal. Thank you very much.
So if you are in New York on June 1st, or maybe you need to go to New York on June 1st, go see Night of a Thousand Judys. It is supporting the Ali Forney Center. It's at Joe's Pub, which is a phenomenal space. You can go to thousand.judys.com. I will put a link to that in the description of this podcast or video, however you're watching it. Tickets are available now. Go get them now. Go see the show. I can tell you that space is just so amazing. And this is the 14th year of this show.
Yeah.
So it is going to be an amazing event. And I wish I was in New York to see it. So thank you so much for being on, Justin. You were a pleasure to have, and you were amazing. And I appreciate you being on my show.
Oh, thank you.
And if this episode resonated with you, or you think somebody should go see The Night of a Thousand Judys, please share this episode with them, and I'll be back tomorrow with a new guest. Thanks everybody for listening, and thank you again, Justin.